Here we come! And we aren't let anything slow us down. Because we are ready to explode. So come inside. Pull up a chair. Grab yourself a refreshing beverage. Fire up the television.
Oh my God, no way.
And get ready for the show that knows there's nothing funnier than pain, humiliation, and stupidity. Just as long as it's happening to somebody else. It only hurts when I laugh. On the road of life, there are bound to be obstacles. Smart ones go around them, and dumb ones, well, they tend to get knocked on their asses by them. Eddie was the best street tumbler in Cowlick County, which wasn't difficult because Eddie is the only street tumbler in Cowlick County. Al planned to rollerblade until God gave him a sign to stop. Sometimes God can be quite literal. The rule with toy trucks that don't have brakes is, when you want to stop, aim for something soft. Soft! Something soft! Ah, youth. Can anything stop their unbridled and energetic quest for adventure? Apparently, a steel bike rack can. You'd think living in a landlocked community would prevent Edgar from living his dream of being a kayaker. It didn't. What slowed Edgar down was urban sprawl. When Robbie left the sprinklers on all night and flooded the entire neighborhood, he decided to make the best of it. Only problem seemed to be that his polka-dotted inner tube didn't come with a rudder. Achilles was only vulnerable in his heel. Max's only vulnerable area? His tenders. Swinging gives you the illusion of obstacle-free flying, while fences tend to bring you right back to reality. Don't think of them as trees. Think of them as nature's brakes. Dominic wanted to make sure the roof was obstacle-free for when Santa came next Christmas. He was also concerned Santa couldn't get in with no chimney. And that was one obstacle that proved to be no problem. And now it's time for the It Only Hurts When I Laugh wager of the week. First of all, gambling is wrong. There, now that we've said that, step on up to the television and place your bet. Which one of these young speedsters isn't even going to make it past the starting line? Is it Jumping Jackie Jenna Carly, Big Bad Billy Boscolucci, or Rancid Randy Raspacelli? Last chance to change your bet, and here we go. That's right, if you bet on Rancid Randy Raspacelli, you are our Wager of the Week winner. And remember, gambling is wrong. They say there's a perfect guy out there for every girl. But if you think your soulmate is in the following clips, we highly recommend you keep looking for your dream man. Albert is determined to lose 300 pounds on his new liquid diet. But first, he's got to get the liquid in his mouth. Leonard likes to impress the ladies with his superhuman feats of strength. Sometimes his super-duper dapper duds just don't do it by themselves. Despite being married for 30 years, Gabe still goes out of his way to impress his wife. Unfortunately for Gabe, she stopped being impressed about 29 and a half years ago. perfect way to impress the young ladies of the playground is a triple backflip out of a swing. Unfortunately, he's still working on it. It isn't the lure of PJ's homemade wine that keeps the women flocking over to his house. It's the results of PJ consuming too much of it. PJ's one of those fun drunks. Mark and his wife have a deal. He can play all the video games he wants while she's at work, but when she gets home, it's all chick flicks and foot rubs.
Oh my God.
I wonder if she'll just settle for foot rubs. Zach spent hours on his hors d'oeuvres to impress his lady friend. It is just too bad he was dipping into the cooking sherry the entire time. The way a man dances is a good indication of his prowess at lovemaking. And Ronald dances the same way he makes love. Alone. Funny how a simple "I dare you" can make someone do something stupid. And when you double dare somebody, you know they're headed for the dumbass book of world records. Even though he had recently been bitten by a radioactive spider, Tommy was hesitant to test his Spidey skills until they triple dog dared him. Then it was so on. He probably should have waited till those Spidey senses got all tingly. He knew never to play leapfrog with a unicorn, but it didn't stop him from daring to leap a cement pole. Same result, though. They dared little James to crank it up to 40 miles per hour, which turned out to be about 38 miles per hour too fast. All hail the king of porta potties. When you dare yourself to greatness, you gotta be prepared to answer to the people. Abdicating the porta potty throne is both humiliating and painful. Darla dared to be one of the boys. One of the klutzy boys with a broken back, but one of the boys nevertheless. 2 out of 3 trampoline bouncers don't regret taking the dare to all jump at the same time. The third guy didn't want to comment. Ah, the wedding. That special day when, for a lot of couples, everything just starts falling apart. When choosing a wedding dress, brides tend to concentrate on the design of the bodice and the length of the train, when they really should take into consideration what happens when it gets wet. Wash and wear is really a solid option in gowns. The best man just realized the bride was that girl from spring break 2 years ago. If she recognizes him, it's all over. Sometimes the wedding party upstages the bride and groom. Jake and Hildy wanted to make an entrance people would still be talking about years later, and they did. People are still saying, remember those 2 klutzy morons in that wedding we went to that time? Her dress was so tight, people worried she might not be able to breathe. But it turned out it was the groom with the tight cummerbund that ended up hyperventilating. She'd help, but in that dress, she really can't bend over. I don't know who made birds a symbol of wedding bliss, but it sure as hell wasn't a bird. Bird doesn't give a about their wedding. Or does he? Yep. He gives a all right. The only thing better than watching a master craftsman at work is watching a complete amateur totally screwing everything up. You could get a mason to build you a staircase, or you could always just improvise. Maybe he'd be better off renting a ground floor unit. Okay, good. Now back it up, back it up, back it up, and that's good. Why all the trepidation from this amateur scientist from Polytechnic Middle School? Well, he isn't sure what's going to happen, but he got nervous when the teacher insisted on leaving the room first. Unsupervised science is dangerous science. The guy who gets to raise the festival pole is the envy of all of Concussion County. In fact, some people get vindictively jealous. If you know what I mean. Gilbert would never make it as one of those fancy theme restaurant waiters because he liked to have his shift drinks before his shift. Time to play Spot the Amateur. And here we go. Don't think that's him. Not sure about that guy either. Oh, there he is. And he's down for the count. Here is exactly what you get when you find your camera crew on Craigslist. Jeremy wanted to juggle with a partner, but he had difficulty finding one with the same skill set because those were already unconscious. There's a reason amateur gymnasts are relegated to the tiny mats. Think of all the damage they do in a much larger space. These girls hope to be so famous someday that they can afford a larger rehearsal space. Until that day, they'll have to suffer for their art. You know, the first thing that caveman did after inventing the wheel was bust his ass on it. Then he invented auto insurance. Sammy liked seeing where he had been, which prevented him from getting where he was going. Safer to face forward. Monroe bills himself as the #1 motorcycle daredevil in all the Ukraine. Now there are no motorcycle daredevils in the Ukraine. The only thing better than watching the dominance of man over machine is when it is totally the other way around. When they made a potty stop in the woods, they should have peed away from the car. Look at the mess they made by peeing so close. Oh, great. Now they got pee-pee on them. Maybe she should be learning on a set of wheels she can handle, like a tricycle maybe? I'll give her this. She's got perseverance. Unfortunately, she was never seen again. When stealing a bicycle, it's probably best not to do it wearing a Santa suit. You can't blend in. The beard gets in your eyes. The life of a bike messenger is tough. There's the pressure, the long hours, and the vendettas held by fellow messengers. Be better off just being a mailman. Mikey's parents made sure he wore protective gear on almost every part of his body. Problem is, they don't make pads for your dignity. Dignity is always vulnerable.
And now, the It Only Hurts When I Laugh funniest clip, brought to you by Domino's.
Not only is Andre a great driver, but I bet it would surprise you to know he also put that car together all by himself. Well, maybe it wouldn't surprise you at all. He can't read directions yet. Every year, Santa hits 250 billion homes in one night, spreading happiness and joy. What he does when he gets back to the North Pole is definitely what we call crossing the line. Looks like we just stumbled into an adult film shoot, and that has Santa getting himself firmly placed on the naughty list. Come on, how much fun was that? When you spend a half hour laughing at your fellow man, getting whacked, smacked, hacked, and hijacked, you know you are watching It Only Hurts When I Laugh. See you next time. Keep those cards and letters coming.